Hi everyone, it's Karen. It's been a while. My last video was October, I think the 23rd. Let me see. October the 23rd it was. It's now a new year, 2020. Happy New Year, everyone. 2020, and it's the 5th of January. A lot has happened since my last video, but first I want to just say I can't believe the overpouring of comments and people reaching out and sharing what they're going through and their thoughts and their concerns, and they just let me know that there were things that I had expressed and said that people could relate to. And I had no idea that I said anything, what it was I said that people related to, until people started telling me. So I was grateful for that. I'm grateful to all of you for speaking with me, and the opportunity to get to speak to you and to tell you how much your story meant to me, and sharing things with me, and that you're praying for me, and I'm praying for each and every one of you. And anyway, this is so hard because I want to do this so bad, but it's so extremely difficult because I have so much in my head that I don't even know where to begin. Because I said I wanted to, take a topic and focus on that, talk about it. As you remember, any of you, or if this is the first time you're watching, I'll leave the link to my previous video, so I don't have to backtrack so much and repeat myself. I'm just wanted to catch everybody up on what's happened, and with me. And after the 23rd, it was 3 weeks after I tried to take my life and almost died, that I thought I was stable. I thought I was stable. I wasn't well. When I got home, the 9 days I was in the hospital in Oklahoma City, I made the choice to go back on the Klonopin that I had spent 12 months getting off of. And I just want to point this out again. I not only quit taking my Klonopin. Now, I did taper the Klonopin, but it was a very quick taper. And I almost made 5 months of not being on the Klonopin. But in the meantime, I was on Zoloft 50 milligrams. I was on triliptol, 300 milligrams, twice a day. Seroquel, Ramron, and Requip, and that was for sleep. So even though I was off the Klonopin, I was still on these other drugs. What's that? 6 drugs. I was still on 5 more drugs. And every time I had to take another drug, I just got worse. Like I said, I had some windows, what they call some, like decent days, but it just became where there were none, because every time I would take a medication, it was like it just, whatever was going on, your GABA receptors or whatever, and these psychotic drugs were just, like teasing my brain. So I was totally getting worse. And the symptoms, I'm going to do that in another video. Just talk about symptoms. That's it. Because I think that this is hard enough, but talking about the symptoms and trying to, articulate those are what's really hard. And it's one thing that people don't like to do. It's like a trigger. They call it a trigger. You don't want to scare people, but, like I said, I'm not going to worry about scaring people, because I don't want people to really know what could possibly happen to you. What could possibly happen when you try to do this. If it's just a benzo or any psychotic medicine, I meant any of these things. And the list is long. I've never seen a list. What, 100 things? And it's incredible that a person could have the majority of those, and for it just to be constant is unbelievable. So anyway, just keep in mind that I'm going through benzo withdrawals. Now we're calling it, once you get off of it, your benzo injury syndrome. Okay? But it's still like going through the withdrawals. There's no difference. You're going, okay, it's only been 5 months off of it, but I've got a year, 2 years, who knows how long, because I'm hearing from people that they're still suffering for 5 years and longer. And then the other issue, the age, I think that's what hit home for a lot of people. It's like I said, that the more I can't even count on one hand how many people are of my age, in your 60s or older, or almost, 50, 60, 70, going through this. It is totally, totally, totally worse, for the simple reason is that we don't have that young brain that can regenerate, rejuvenate, replace dead, brain cells. Our health is declined as you get older. It's harder to recover from anything when you're older. I think that resonated with a lot of people. And So, gosh, I really needed to hear from other people my age. I really did. And I wish there were more people my age that are going through this, you know, that would be making videos on YouTube about this and and what they go through, or even the people that are been years out and are in really bad shape. It seems like, you know, you cannot find anybody. I found, I'll be honest with you, only 2 people on YouTube, 2. And anybody that's kept up with the Benzo withdrawal on YouTube know the familiar people I met. They've, you know, are always posting and keeping everybody up to date on how they're progressing, if they're healing. And everybody's saying that they are, except 2 people that I know of. Only 2. And one is no longer posting anymore. And she's the one I related with the most. Benzo Warrior. The other lady, bless her heart, no, there's 3. Forgive me. Well, you know who they are. I don't need to mention their names. But they're still in a bad way. 5 years. You know? 3, 5 years. Just endless suffering, and have tried everything. And anything they tried to do doesn't work. It doesn't work. And you talk about hopelessness. And it scares me. It worries me. Because, you know, what I've been through and what I've done, you know, trying to take my life, not just once in October, but again, December the 9th, just things went from October the 23rd to October the 9th, things just got worse. I had mentioned that I had went back on, instead of 2 milligrams of Klonopin, I was down to 1. When I left the hospital in the city, they had put me on the original dose. So as soon as I got home, I lowered it to 1. I wish I would have lowered it even lower, you know, and then the Remeron for sleep. But something was wrong. And there's nowhere to go to find out anything. You don't go home with a booklet or sheets of paper telling you what to expect or anything like that. This is foreign territory, as we well know. But just the trauma of the 12 months, the post-traumatic stress that people talk about that you're left with. If you already have post-traumatic stress and you go through something so unbelievable and so horrific, I'm at trauma every day for 12 months. That's the most traumatic thing that I've met, that a person can go through, and it sticks with you. And that's why it's so hard to talk about. And I guess that's why nobody ever puts any YouTube videos on, you know, except a couple people that are just going through a nightmare constantly after years, you know. And the anger, this anger, I felt inside like I was idling. And the depression, I meant during that whole 12 months, I never, or even before I ever got on the drugs, have never known a depression like this in my life. It's like we said, I thought I had anxiety and depression before I got on the drugs, but until you get off the drugs, you're going to experience that 100 times. 100 times that. That was nothing. If we knew then what we know now, we would have never taken these drugs. Never. You would have got a therapist or anything. But there's nothing you can do about that now. You're where you're at with the drugs. But anyway, I'm on the Remeron, 30 milligrams. I'm on the Klonopin, 1 milligram. The depression and the anger. I had this anger during the withdrawals, and it was rage. That's what it was. It wasn't just anger. It started out as anger. I felt like a ticking time bomb. It was rage. The rage. I would just go into rages. I meant every little teeny thing. I didn't understand. I didn't know what was happening. I just knew I need something else. I don't need any more Klonopin because I'm not having the anxiety. I'm sleeping. So what's going on here? Yeah, I put my body through a lot for a year, and then coming off of all those medications really messed me up. It made me even worse. If it had just been one thing, but you're messing with taking 6 pills away, trying to take 6 psychotic medications away, and then you OD on top of that. I just couldn't get a grip. I couldn't get a grip. It just got so bad that let me say this, during my withdrawals, I would have these rages, and I would attack my husband. I literally attacked him because he just would not. He didn't hear me. He wasn't getting it, And I remember the one time he was like mocking me, and I just went after him. And I was attacking him, physically, punching him and slapping him and everything, until it just went on and on until I just completely collapsed. I just collapsed into the floor and almost hit my head. That's how violent it became. And the 9th of last month, which was December, it was towards the evening. I don't know what started it, but I had had enough. I just had enough. I couldn't take any more. I just was screaming, and pacing and screaming and just wishing I was dead. I just wish I was dead, I just wanted it to be over with. Here, when I made that video, I thought, okay, everything's stable now. You know, you're stabling out. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while, but you're gonna be all right. I had I had no idea, none. What you know? God, just talking about it is really this is so freaking hard. That I went after my husband again, and I just told him, screaming. I had my arm pulled back like this and was gonna punch him in the face, and I didn't. I didn't, thank God, but he said it went on for hours, and I just got worse. And he was so scared he didn't know what to do, and he stepped out of the house. Now what happened? What happened? I told him. I said, I wish you would just leave. Just pack a bag and leave for a while. Just leave me alone. Leave me be. You know, because it wasn't doing me or him any good. I was in this state, and I had progressed in that state. I was that way every day, but it just got more intense as the days went by, and I just exploded. He went outside. I thought he was going to get in the car and go for a drive or something. He came back in and he told me that he called the police. I can't believe my husband called the police on me. My husband, I trusted him. He's my... Why would he call the police on me? And he said because he was scared I was going to kill myself. And I said, you know exactly what they're going to do when they come. They're going to lock me back up again. I said, look what happened the last time. Look what's happened every time I've been in one of those places. I've come home worse than I was every single time. I said, you know what they're like. You know what I've been through. You know what you've been through. I said, why would you do that to me? I was hysterical. That did it. I lost it. Lost it. I don't even remember how the events happened. All I know is that I grabbed for a kitchen steak knife and started stabbing myself repeatedly while he was trying to was behind me and had both my arms like this, making it hard for me to continue to stab myself. And I'm just going to show you this. This is what's scary. This is a steak knife. And I used two of them. During the struggle, I managed to get free and grab another one. I just jabbed and jabbed, and him holding me and trying to keep me from falling on top of the knife and to keep me from penetrating, which I did. There was blood. I was just covered in blood. I managed to get loose from him and lock myself in the bathroom, and when he came in there and couldn't get in, he was asking me what I was doing. I just told him I was going to the bathroom. I'd be out in a minute. And I took a whole bottle of hydrocodone. There was almost let's see, I can't see how many are in here, but prednisone. I didn't know what prednisone was, but I did find out later, and this is probably the one thing that saved me, since my puncture wound wasn't, I didn't penetrate into my stomach. I just got into the fatty tissue, and that was sticking out. But as many times as I jabbed myself, it's unbelievable how that knife just was bouncing off of me, still cutting me, blood everywhere, still cutting me up, but where I needed stitches, but no, all the way in. It's a miracle. But anyway, that's what happened right now. I'll just tell you this, that I'm on Zoloft, back on the Zoloft that I was on, 50 milligrams, and there's no anger, but oh my God, I can't even believe I'm even doing this. I'm even telling you this. But the rage. I'll hear anybody. I searched and searched, trying to find. I found one person mention rage or anger. Nobody mentioned anything about being violent, getting violent, trying to hurt someone like I did, or even try to kill yourself while you're in that range. But that's one of the withdrawal symptoms that I know that maybe I've missed it, but people aren't talking about it. The rage, the anger, the outbursts, going through withdrawals from benzos. Oh my gosh. You talk about you are not you anymore. You aren't. Like I said, the derealization, depersonalization, whatever you call it, not being in reality. Nothing looks right. Everything's distorted. Your senses are all distorted. Everything. Just like I said, if I'm going to talk about symptoms, I've got to be able to explain what it was like. And I'm just going to talk about symptoms and how horrific they are and how disturbing they are. And I just cannot believe that more people aren't, explaining these symptoms, because they just don't want to scare nobody. I don't want to scare people, because I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to go through it. I positively don't want you to do what I did. Getting off of one drug and having to do it for a long time, that's the only way it's going to happen. It's the only way you can do it. There is no other way. There isn't any place to go to do this, because this is long term, But if you're on a bunch of medications like me, I'm trying to get off that benzo. Why don't people talk about all the other psych drugs they're on, and how the difficulties they went through getting off that benzo, and then those other drugs were causing more problems, and how did they deal with that? You know, they don't talk about that. You know, they said, well, they were on this drug or that drug, but now they're free of that too, but they don't go into any detail, or, I mean, during their 1 year, 2 year videos on YouTube, how did you do it? You know? There's just too much going on out there that we just don't understand. I just don't want anybody to do what I did. I don't want anybody to end up like me. I don't want anybody to start something that can really mess you up and get someone hurt, or get yourself hurt, or get yourself permanently locked up. There's no telling what a person is capable of doing. You know, when your mind goes like that, it's scary. It's beyond scary. It's beyond scary. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. And hopefully, hopefully, I just want you all to know that I appreciate each and every one of you for being with me, for speaking with me, for praying for me. Just thank you so much. It helped me in so many ways. You just I can't even express it to you. But I've tried to, in my replies back to each and every one of you. So just God bless each and every one of you. And for any new person that is just now seeing this, I hope you go to the link and see my previous video. Don't let this happen to you. If you want to get off of one of your psych drugs or your benzodiazepine, please do as much research as possible. Know that it's going to take a year or two or more of your life, unless you find you a doctor that knows everything that's going on and understands about how serious this is. If you're that fortunate, I haven't seen anybody or know of anybody that has yet. But anyway, God bless you all, and happy 2020. Till my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.